Coming up in the next half hour, one of college football's best is moving on, while one who's never quite lived up to his promise is apparently going to give it one last shot. Late highlights from last night on the way as well, but we start you off with one of the least surprising announcements of the year in sports. Rich Kotite inherited a very bad New York Jets team and will leave behind an absolutely dreadful New York Jets team. The Jets went from 6-10 in the final year of the Pete Carroll era to 3-13 last year and 1-14 this year, heading into the season finale with Miami on Sunday. Add in an uninspiring team that has generated complete fan apathy, and the surprise isn't that Kotite has stepped down. The surprise is that it took this long. Kotite making the announcement less than a half hour ago at a press conference in Hempstead, New York. We'll have more on that momentarily. First, as we look back on the Jets season, it was an absolutely dreadful year. They did nothing right, leading the NFL in turnovers. They're also last in turnover margin. Their poorest defense has allowed the most points in the league, and they're the first team since the 1988 and 89 Cowboys to post the league's worst record in 2 years in a row. We go now to Chris Mortensen, who joins us from Atlanta for more on the Kotite firing. How's it going, Chris?
I think that Rich Kotite did a smart thing today, just basically ending the speculation. We don't have to go through a weekend of wondering whether it's going to be after the game or Monday or even Tuesday. And so Rich, by stepping down, pretty much puts that to rest. And I think it makes Sunday's game a little bit easier for the Jets. And it might even motivate the Jets a little bit going against the Dolphins. I think what we sit back and do now is watch what happens. I mean, the Jets can go for the big home run, actually the grand slam, and go for Bill Parcells or Joe Gibbs or even Mike Ditka. Those are names you hear. Or they can simply step back and try to hire a general manager, either promote Dick Haley from within and let him hire a coach, or go after Bill Polian of the Carolina Panthers. Bill is a native New Yorker. There's been a lot of speculation about Polian and the Jets. And one other possibility is Carl Peterson of the Kansas City Chiefs. He's the president and GM of that team. His contract expires at the end of January. So there are different ways the Jets can go here, but I think everybody's expecting them to take a whack at Parcells when the Patriots season is over.
All right, thanks a lot, Mort. That once again, Chris Mortensen joining us from Atlanta, talking more about Rich Kotite stepping down. And in case you were not with us earlier in this hour on ESPN News, we did hear live from the Rich Kotite press conference as he did indeed step down after just shy of 2 years as the head coach of the New York Jets. Here's what it sounded like.
After the Miami game, I'm going to be stepping down as head coach. I just want you to understand that there's a mutual understanding between Leon Hess and Steve and myself. I wanted to do it on Friday for a couple of reasons. First of all, I think it's good for the organization, but also I wanted to talk to my players eye to eye and explain to them how I felt about them, how I felt about what has to happen with the football team. If you take your emotion out of this, and I did, you know, I think there's only one thing that can happen, and that should happen, and that is that the head coach should not be here. I was not fired. I'm not quitting, but weeks ago, talking to Mr. Hess and also to Steve, I thought that this is the only way to go.
The numbers are not pretty, and in the 7 straight games he lost in his final year with the Eagles, and Kotite has now dropped 34 of his last 38 games as the head coach. Kotite was an equal opportunity loser, 2-13 as the Jets coached the Meadowlands, 2-14 on the road. The hype was unimaginable. No one could have possibly lived up to the expectations that greeted Ron Paulus in South Bend after he tied a school record with 4